Hi, this is Rob Seltzer, the Aortic Chef,
Mindy Seltzer, the aortic dietitian.
and the Aortic Kitchen is now open for business. Welcome. Tonight, we are celebrating National Garlic Month with a special recipe for a chicken with 40 cloves of garlic. Yes, I said 40 cloves of garlic. And before that, I'm going to do a little review from a couple years ago, and I'm going to demonstrate again how to save money by breaking down a chicken into its parts. A whole chicken is a lot less expensive than the parts. So we'll review how to do that. It's really not that hard. And Minnie's going to make it.
I will be making a Michigan salad, which it's national now, but it started out in Michigan with apples, cherries, and pecans.
That is kind of in celebration of the fact that we're broadcasting from Michigan. So we thought we'd do a little bit of that. Now, for those of you who don't know, I am a survivor of an aortic dissection 3 years ago, and that's why I am here with Aortic Hope. Which most of us are, or our caregivers, our members. So
which I am.
Enjoy the program. Mindy is going to start us off with her Michigan salad.
Okay, well, Michigan salad basically starts with a variety of lettuces, and I pre-wash them, or you can buy the pre-washed mixed salad mix. I'm going to start just a little bit. I'm going to put the lettuce in the bowl. It's so difficult, I know, and then I'm going to do everything else. So I have a mix of romaine, spinach, and mixed greens.
How much salad are we making?
We're making about 4 cups, a serving for 4 people. You can use this as a dinner salad. And if Chef Rob has a chance, I will pull it out. I did not take out my blue cheese. So hold on a minute. And so the ingredients are pretty simple. An apple, cherries, and it may be in the vegetable drawer. There it is.
Cheese drawer.
Blue cheese and lightly toasted pecans, depending on where you're from. If you want to get really fancy, you can add a little sugar and make them glazed. So make it really simple. I'm going to take my apple. You can dice it or cut it into slices. I am going to cut it into slices. I'm doing it the easy way, dear.
Yes, I know. You're doing the homemaker dangerous.
The homemaker dangerous way.
Yeah, really. Okay.
And then make nice thin slices. Haven't gotten near my fingers yet, sir.
Always curl our fingers.
So we don't take off our knuckles.
Nails, your fingers, but we do all. So, first rule of knife is don't cut.
And your knuckle is a guideline if you do it right. I'm not going to even use the other piece, sir. I have plenty of slices.
Thank you.
And the apples.
Thank you. I got something to chew on.
It's probably one of the quickest demonstrations I've done so far. We're going to take the salad. You can do this as individual plates. I'm going to do this as a group salad for everyone. And I'm using a Cosmic Crisp. Make sure it's a semi-tart sweet apple. You could use Granny Smith's if you like really tart apples. Crispins, Pink Ladies, and and Gala would be the ones I would use. So salad's ready. My nuts are toasted. I'm going to sprinkle them around. Not yours, dear, they're mine.
Yeah, I didn't have that line.
Har, har. Sprinkle them to your heart's desire. Dried cherries. May I have a spoon, please?
Your hands aren't clean.
It's just easier to move them around. So these are dried cherries, which cherries are very famous in Michigan. In July, there's the Traverse City Cherry Festival.
Cherries are a Michigan product.
Michigan product. If you happen to buy cherry pie filling, they are also probably, well, they used to be from Michigan. They're not as much. I think they come from, the next ingredient is going to be blue cheese. And I'm just going to sprinkle this on. It's about a teaspoon per person. Up to you. You can add more later, or if you have people that are finicky and don't like blue cheese, you can put it on the side and they can add it. The next, what did you just say? No, he mumbled something to me. So this is the salad dressing, which is a combination of wine vinegar.
Oh,
Oh, no vinegar. Cherry preserves,
yes.
cloves of garlic, balsamic vinegar, a little bit of honey, Dijon pepper, and I'm going to mix that up first because I have cherries in here. I need to chop them up a little bit. And next, I'm going to add olive oil. I did not measure olive oil. So want to puree it until it's nice and smooth. The mustard's added to keep it as an emulsion. So if you look at the color, it's got a nice, wonderful color. And then chef is going to add
While you spin.
a half a cup of olive oil. A little bit more.
Thank you.
I'm working. So the one thing that's nice about this cup is it has measuring on it. So I've got the general measurements. That's about it. Voila.
Nice emulsified vinaigrette, cherry vinaigrette. And I'm going to help here.
Thank you, sir.
There you go.
Okay.
With that.
Let me take this over to the sink. And when we talk about emulsified, if you look really close, I heard a wow from chef. So I'm going to lightly drizzle this on the salad. Some people like. I'm just going to give a little on the apples in the center so you can just get a look of what the dressing really looks like. If you're making, this should be pretty much, you can use this as a dinner meal. If you want a little more protein to it, you could add a hard-boiled egg. You could use chickpeas. You could also add a gorgonzola cheese. You could add a Stilton blue cheese, which has a little less sodium in it. And that is the salad. I'm going to turn it over to the chef.
Okay, here we go. I'm off screen, but that's okay. Less of me, the better. Oh, so we forgot to start that, but we'll get there. All right, chicken. That's what we're going to do is chicken tonight. My favorite thing. I mean, there's two ways that we can do it for this 40 cloves of garlic. One I'm going to demonstrate tonight after I cut up the chicken is I'm going to do it in a pressure cooker. Okay. And I also am putting the recipe for the oven because I did a batch in the oven earlier. So you can do it either way. The pressure cooker is pretty darn quick. And I just need to get myself together here. It's only going to take a few minutes, I hope. So, oh gosh, which is the thumb on this thing? Okay, here we go. So the chicken, we've got a regular, what we used to call fryers. You know, they've changed so much over the years. Frying chickens or fryers, when I grew up and younger, earlier in my career, you know, they were about what, 2.5, 3 pounds, right? You remember going to the store and getting chickens. Um, but for the demand in the United States, we've now grown monster chickens because we want more breast meat. So the average chicken that you find in the grocery store is this is about 5.5 pounds. Okay, it's a lot of chicken. And yeah, this is what they used to call a roaster, but it's now a fryer. Okay, they're not roasting chickens. So we've got a whole chicken here. First thing you want to do, a little bit of drippage there from the inside. Let's clean that up. Okay. And I'll take a little towel. What you want to do is you want to have a dry chicken. Okay. You don't want to start with one that's all wet and slippery. So I had paper towels on it and I opened it up and had dried it and obviously purged a little bit. So we have our, regular chicken, 8 pieces if you do the full cut, 2 legs, 2 thighs, 2 wings, and 2 breasts. And you have a little bit of back left over too, which is, always good in the kitchen. Now, this is under here is the breastbone. That's what they cut when we had our surgery, right? Right down here. So if I turn it over and he's standing up, okay, thump, 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 there's our breast, there's the neck. And they sliced us right down here, okay? And same as ours, okay? Now, at this end where the neck is in the chicken is where the famous wishbone is, right? And before we cut up a chicken, we want to remove the wishbone. If you remember when you watched the Thanksgiving show, and I talked about that with the turkey, always remove the wishbone first because it makes things easier to bone out, and the meat kind of just falls like it's that one little bone holds almost the whole chicken together because it's connected down by the wings, and it just makes it a whole lot easier to deal with. Okay, so it's right here. You can feel it with your fingers. You just want to put your knife behind it. You see I can put my knife right through, and you want to cut up towards the top where it is, and you want to find it on the other side. Turn it around here so I can get this. Just get in behind it, cut down, okay, and just take your hand. You see, oh, I broke the wishbone. Oh boy, no good wishes today. And boy, he's tight. There we go. And do your best to take that out. There it is right there. Excuse me. I just need to make another little cut. And pop that baby out. There it is. Okay. There. So now when I go to cut the breast will just fall right off. Okay. Now, when you want to, could you move that, please? Makes me nervous. You want your chicken to be well relaxed, so give it a little massage. Just loosen those joints, get it, do the chicken dance, take the wings, get them up, find him how he flew, or she. It's probably a hen, I assume. So, but just get them all those. We're loosening up the joints and the cartilage, okay? So, all right. Now, when you want to do a chicken, first thing you want to do is remove the wings, cut right behind. You can feel with your finger where the joint ends and just cut right behind there. Little twist. And try to, when you get around, take a little bit of the meat that's below it right here, rather than just cutting off the wing, because if you're going to serve this for dinner, the person that gets the wing really gets nothing. So take a little bit of that back with it. See, you're giving them a little bit better portion. And chefy thing, we always just typically remove the tips because they're really no good for anything. Stock pot. Okay, there's one. Here we go with the other. Right between, there we go. And we're going to cut back here just a little bit. Some of that other meat. Ooh, it's a nice portion there. Okay. And I'll take that back. Thank you. Okay. Now we're going to turn them around. The legs are all nice and loose. It's floppy. You got that nice piece of skin right here. Just cut quickly. When you get down towards the bottom, give the leg a little pop. See, and there's the leg bone right there. The thigh bone that comes off. Right around that and down. There's one leg. I knew a chef when I used to teach at Le Cordon Bleu. Boy, this guy, we used to time him. He would break down an entire chicken into 8 pieces in under a minute. He was so fast. Okay, so there's 4, 5, 6. Now we have the breast here, right? Now we can either, now the legs, let's go back to that. So I've got 6. You'll see, if you can see this, there's a piece of fat right here, a fat line on the between the leg and thigh. That's where your joint is. If you cut there, the knife should go right through and boom. We're going to skin this anyway, so I don't really care how the skin looks. There's a thigh. Okay, that you'll take. Okay, and we do this again. Leg, thigh. Look for that line right there. And we put the knife right through, and look at that. Quick and easy. That white line tells you where to go. Okay. Now, the breast, just going to cut straight down. Yep. Okay. And we can move the back like that. Give it a crack. I want it on saute, yes. Saute low, but okay. All right. Piece of the back and the breast. And continue to break that off, okay? One. Here's the rest of the back, which is not cooperating today. Here we go. Yes. Now, I got some of the rib bones here. Now, here's the keel bone that we're talking about, right? The keel of the boat. So the easy way to get rid of that, take your knife at the end. Yeah, these bones are heavy. Yes, because it's an older chicken. Crack it, just like that, and see, boom. And the other side should pop off, but okay. It's only because I'm on a show it's giving me a hard time today. Normally, this is very, very simple. And you can just grab the keel bone and pull it out. This is an old bird. All right, we'll take this one right off. I really don't feel like I look like I know what I'm doing. So I've done this 100,000 times. Okay. Boy, there's a skinless breast and a skinless breast. Okay. And we're going to do skinless thighs. Okay, most of those skinless. We could skin the drummies too if we want. And that's easy. That you got to get messy if you're going to do this. You know, if you're going to butcher. Oops, that was nice. You got to get your hands into it. Okay, that's why you want to wear gloves. Want to have a nice workspace. It seems a little gross, a little more work. You're like, well, I don't, is it worth $1 a pound or $2 a pound to so I don't have to do all of this? I don't think so, because when you're done, you're gonna have stuff for stock. You're gonna have like this back right here. Okay, there's good eating here, very good, and there's a lot of fat on here too. That's where that leaf fat is. But this will make a really nice stock pot. Okay, and when we bone these breasts out, which really is not that hard, we just take your knife right underneath. Thank you. The rib bones and slide them out. And that's mostly fat. There we go. Now we have a nice, there's the breast tenderloin. If you want to save the tenders for the kids, see, there's simple boneless breast. And again, we just slip that off. Okay. And if that keel bone did not come out, you can just take your knife and easily just draw it along it, just like that, like you're carving a turkey. And then it's gone. Oh. And our other breast. Okay. So here we have an 8-way chicken. A little messy here. If I was at school, I would have gotten bad points. No points for that one. But there we go. 2 breasts, 2 legs, 2 thighs, and 2 wings. Now we're going to do nothing with the wings. Often, maybe you can keep the drummies, okay? And you can cook those off, which I will just right now do, because we got to get rolling here. Okay, take the flats off. So you got, it's like the leg. This is the stick on the wing. This is the flat, which we love when you're eating chicken wings, and then the tip. So stick, flat, tip. Okay. Okay. There we go. Beautiful. All done. Now, so for the recipe now I'm ready to go. Now, the recipe that I wrote, we only use the dark meat because we're going to cook this for a while. The breasts will just, overcook and become all dry and ugly. Could I have the plate back? I decided I want to give you this. Okay, here we go. And we'll package that up for later. And I'll throw the wings in because they're dark meat too, and they work just fine. So I'm going to do it in the Instant Pot. First thing we have to do, of course, yes, it does. Now you learned. Okay, would you pour some the black lid oil in there, please? Just coat the bottom, push the button up here, Mindy. Thank you. Good, 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 good. Boy, the dietitian's giving me lots of oil. That's all right. Grapeseed oil. So what we want to do is brown the chicken first, as always. Whenever we cook, whether it's meat, whether it's a beef or chicken or things, if you're going to make a braise, which is what we're doing, braising is where you sear something and then you cook it with a small amount of liquid, like a pot roast, okay? But you always have to sear the meat first. Don't just throw it in a pot with all the stock and the vegetables, and you're not going to have as much flavor. So we want to sear it. So I'm going to drop this and get it just a little bit brown. And what did I forget to do now, Mindy? Oh, I didn't season it. Always season it. I'm going to season it in the pot. Yep. This is not going to take long at all. Okay, now I can my gloves. What? I see. I saw. Okay. Not a lot of seasoning on this on the outside here. It's all going to go in the cooking bowl. I know. Thank you. So I'm going to pepper it. Turn it back up. Just not hot enough. And I'm going to ooh, some hot paprika. I want some heat on this one. This is real Hungarian paprika, and it's the spicy. You know, paprika is just it's a type of bell pepper, all right, and they use and dry it out and grind it, and that's what paprika is, basically red pepper powder from a different type. But this is a hot one, so this is the hot pepper, and this stuff is wickedly hot. So I don't need a lot. And let this baby go for a minute or two. Let me get rid of this nasty cutting board. I got it. No, don't. That's how we drop things. You can want to rinse, you can rinse. Now I have some more ingredients. So what we're gonna do with this, we have this is for the end, the parsley and green onion for garnish. Putting the other one in the oven that I had done earlier. You'll be able to see that. What do I always cook with? What's my basis for flavor? Again, we're cooking without added salt. And I made sure the chicken that I bought, by the way, and I've mentioned this before, read the labels. It's printed right on the front of the chicken. It tells you what the injection rate is. They can put up to, I think, 18% injection, which is just salt water, plump up those birds, whether it's turkeys or chickens. They do the same thing with fish sometimes, with shellfish, with shrimp and scallops. Read the label. This one is less than 5%, which is about the, and that they naturally do hold some water anyways through the washing process. So that's almost like having nothing added to it. Otherwise, the ones that are 8%, 10%, 12%. So now 10% of the weight that you're buying. So if you bought 5-pound chicken, a half pound of it is salt water. And then that just leaves and goes out into the pan or wherever, down into the barbecue grill. And it's higher, it's got a higher sodium level as well. So you want to buy birds that have very low water content. The best, you do air chilled. Air chilled chickens are not ever packed in ice or anything. And so they stay dry and they don't have that extra added to them. So well, how do I build flavor? Because we don't have salt. You saw I use pepper. I use a little spice. I also talk about acids, which we'll do later. But my basis with most anything that I do is my mirepoix, carrots, onions, and celery. You see me add that all the time. And you know what? If I was in the restaurant, I'd probably take it out at the end. But at home, I eat the stuff. It's delicious once it cooks with all the chicken. Some of the best part. And it's all good. Okay, my chicken is starting to brown. Almost there. And once I get that going, get it ready, we're going to go to the next step. So let's take a look. Yep, all good. And I'm just going to do the one side for the show. Typically, I want to do both sides. Sorry, while I turn my back on you. One of these days, we'll plug in this fancy table I have because it has electricity. I can do this right in front of you. Okay, chicken's ready. I'm going to reseason the other side. And some pepper. My mirepoix goes in. You know, there's going to be those little bits and pieces of chicken on the bottom. So, of course, we've heard me talk about this before. Careful. We want to deglaze the pan, which means we want to get rid of anything stuck on the bottom. Typically, you do that with liquid, but also the mirepoix, where they just sometimes it may be onions that you're adding, but they all release moisture. It's the moisture that releases the little brown bits. In French, we call that souk, S-U-C, souk. And that's all the good stuff, all the flavor in the bottom of that pot. So you never want to leave that stuff in the bottom. So we're just going to stir this for a minute, let it cook until my onions are clear. And you know what? They're almost clear already. Does not take long. Okay. Oh, I forgot the most important ingredient. Where's my other? Right there. I juiced this up a little bit because this is the Aortic kitchen. We always want to have some extra fiber, some good stuff. That's why I cook some beans. And we're going to add this into the braise. Now, you can buy canned beans, just no salt added, your choice. You want to use cannellinis, you want to use kidneys, you want to use butter beans. I used pintos, but I buy, dry beans, and I soaked them overnight and cooked them earlier today. Now, when you do cook beans yourself, for more flavor, what do we want to do? When you put them in the water to cook, again, what's my favorite flavor building ingredient? Mirepoix. So when I cook beans, I always put carrot, onion, and celery. I just throw half an onion or a whole onion, depending, a carrot that I break in half, a couple ribs of celery, some bay leaf, and some peppercorns, and put those in the pot and cook that with the beans. And then beans come out with some more flavor. So we're going to add these here. Just a second. I am going to do a little deglazing liquid. So I'm going to use a little bit of wine, white wine or chicken stock. What, Mindy? Yeah, whatever you have open. Let that steam off. Cook down the alcohol. Reduce the wine, which reduction is another way of strengthening flavor. And you know how that is. You have some super stock on the stove and you let it just simmer away, and now you got half of what you had, reduction, and you taste it. It's really strong now. Same thing. So we increase flavor through reduction as well. It's always what we're talking about, developing flavor without the use of salt. So, all right, we're doing really well there. And I'm almost dry, so that's au sec in the French. Almost dry, sec being dry. And au with, so there we go. I'm going to add my beans. I got about 2 cups of beans here. Stir those around. Excuse me. Yes, it is. I cheated this time. And if I can have that little paring knife, thank you. I feel like I did this twice. I did not want to peel 80 cloves of garlic. So for this particular thing, and this is probably about the only time I do, I got pre-peeled, pre-cleaned garlic. Really, actually very nice. So there's almost about 20 per package. I'm putting 1 package in with the beans. Stir it around. Okay. I also have my seasoning tonight. I'm using a spice called sumac. S-U-M-A-C is from the Middle Eastern. It's the ground up berries of a sumac tree, and is used in a lot of cooking in the Middle East. And there's what's the spice, Mindy? The seasoning that has the sumac in it, and the sesame, and I don't know, my brain's not working tonight. You've seen it. And so this is going in the pot. It's got a very lemony flavor, bright citrus flavor. So stir that in. So it's going to be there with the veggies. That's my other flavor addition here. Then we take our chicken and we put it on top. put it back. Get it all in here. Okay. Now, what am I missing? The other 20 cloves of garlic. And believe me, when this is all done, the garlic's mild and lovely. There are different ways to do it. James Beard he wrote a recipe with this years and years ago. I think back in like the 50s or early 60s. And he didn't even peel them. He just took uh, the garlic in the paper and just put it all over the top of the chicken. And then when it was done, you then picked up a garlic clove and then squeezed it onto bread and spread it around, and then just threw away the piece, the garlic paper, the garlic skin, which is really good. But that's not what I'm doing tonight. So I'm just throwing that in on top all over so that it definitely cooks down into that chicken. And voila, I think I'm done. I just have to put my lid on. Make sure, excuse me, this is for later. I mentioned this is my garnish. So we're going to turn the cooker off. I'm going to put it on to manual. 12 minutes for on the bone. About 8-9 minutes if you're doing boneless. Okay, because the bone, it takes longer to cook through with the bone in it. But you also, I prefer to cook with the bone because always develops more flavor. The juices that come out are going to have flavor from the bones. It's like making stock. So your sauce is going to be so much better. Where if you just use boneless, which cooks faster, it's easier to eat, but you don't get the flavor. Same thing with meat. Meat on the bone, fish on the bone, anything that still has the bones always tastes better when it's done. Okay. All right. So now, these don't only take 12 minutes. They never work that way. Oh, I lost a clove of garlic. Oh, put it in the other pan. So I can just whoop, back in. All done. So it's probably going to take about 20 minutes, which is more time than we're really going to have. We'll see. Look how much I can keep talking here. What are you pointing at? I have the other chicken in the oven. Yes, I do. So we're almost done there. But Josh, is there anybody watching tonight? I know we were a little late. That's twice today we've been late. But anybody there?
Yeah, let's go ahead and say hi to chat. We've got Brenny and Melissa and Belda, and Paula Stepp has joined the chat.
Paula. Paula's my friend from Chicago.
Wonderful. She's got a question for
Yeah.
you.
Okay.
She says, since it is National Garlic Week, does Chef Rob and Sidekick Mindy have info about black garlic and cooking with it? And then she says, correction month.
Any information about it? I have a lot. It's a fermented garlic that they allow to, after it's matured, they allow it to ferment and it turns black. The flavor it's much sweeter and pungent, and people really love it. So you don't see it too often. I don't think I ever see it in any of the grocery stores we go to. Kind of a specialty, but no, it's not elephant garlic. It's just the really big heads of garlic, giant bulbs. But it's very, very good. You could do this with black garlic and other things, but I will find out some more about it so I can maybe talk for a few minutes about it or just write a little something on it. So it's really, really nice, though. Very, very good. So, Paul, you go ahead.
And when you were having a little bit of trouble with the cutting, Velda said, you make that look easy, Rob. And
yeah.
Paula chirped in to say, no way. You do look like you know what you're doing.
Okay. Yeah, I do. The bird didn't know that, though. Right? That's what it was. The chicken just didn't know me, so it was resisting. Usually they just lay open.
As we did say, it's an older chicken. When you get a fryer chicken, you can generally just whip right through that bird. And the older chicken, the bones are stronger. Yep. They're a little harder to cut.
But it really isn't that hard. There are a ton of videos out there. If you want to watch more, you can watch me again, okay? Because we are going to be on YouTube for the rest of my life and the rest of your life and the rest of my grandkids' lives, I hope. So will be out there. You can always watch it, but there's also lots of demonstrations. And if they do it a little different, don't worry. When I was at Cordon Bleu, and there were many, many instructors, and several of, there were always more than one section of a class. And, uh, or when the students move ahead. So I would show them how to cut a chicken one way. They would then go to the next level, and that instructor say, "Oh, try it, do it this way." And whatever it was, making a sauce, cutting a chicken, making a hollandaise, different things like that. And they'd say, "But the other chef said to do it this way." Well, just like everything else in life, there's more than one way to skin a cat, as they say. There's more than one way to reach that destination. So doesn't make it right or wrong. It's just different. If you're more comfortable doing it a little bit differently, let's say you cut your legs off first instead of the wings. That's okay. All right. But it's not going to make a big difference. But it's just the way that I was taught and the way that we taught people. It's the way that is accepted. If you're in a competition, if you're going to go and be certified, now I'm certifiable, I'm not certified. But if you want to be like a certified executive chef, you have to take a test, a physical, an actual practical. And one of the things you have to do is cut up a chicken and into the 8 parts and the bones. And the other chefs can look at that and see how much meat you left on the bone, if the skin's not torn, how neat they are and everything. Then you have to make a dish with that, with full sides and a sauce made from all that stuff. But that's the way they would want it. Okay. And they would watch you while you do it too. So that is kind of like the preferred method amongst professional chefs, which I am, and try to teach you some of our tips and tricks. So I'm just thinking about Paula. I'm so glad she's here. She's not a member. I've asked her. I'm going to talk about you if that's okay, Paula. I think we've done it before. You can type yes, because she didn't have an aortic dissection, but she had a arterial dissection in her heart, and took the doctors a long time. She felt terrible for a long, long time, and several years. And she would, like we've always talked about with each other in group, we talk about being a self advocate. And if you don't like what your doctor is telling you, or you got to question them. And if the doctor doesn't answer you properly, or sometimes they're rude, right? We can all be rude. We have bad days, but some doctors are just like, "Why do you question me?" It's time to find a new doctor. I know that's what she did. She went through several, and the last cardiologist did another test and looked, and his eyes saw something different, because we always talk about that too. I had the CT done here, and now my aneurysm is different and it's larger and growing, but the other guy says no, it's not. You want to have good eyes, and really the same set of eyes looking at you all the time, because they can see changes better than somebody new. So this doctor saw that she'd actually dissected, I think in the Widowmaker, she had told me. And so we can dissect in our arteries as well as we do in our aorta. We really focus on the aortic dissections because that's the big one. And other aortic disease, that's what we're all about. I found it really interesting because I'd never heard of that before she had told me. And Paula, thank you for sharing, okay, since I shared for you. But she's a really good friend of mine. We went to college together, so we rode dinosaurs back then when we were in college. And our team, by the way, last week, we were at Western Michigan. We won the NCAA National Hockey Championship. They're national champions for hockey, for those of you that are hockey fans out there, those of you who live up north. I know, John, you probably are, in Velda. So we took the Broncos. Go Broncos, okay? So we're getting there.
And before I let you continue, our resident cowgirl, Christina, has joined the chat. She says,
awesome.
And me. Paula did give you the thumbs up, and she says,
cool.
I had to access my Godzilla spirit.
That's it. And she's got one, believe me. So this is taking a while. This has not built pressure up yet. So we'll just keep going here. And I have other chicken that's ready. So we'll pull that out and take a look at it. You have your salad there, Mindy, right? Okay. Nice hot oven. And I have, usually Mindy and I get to eat this. We would sit down, our daughter at home in Orlando, and we would have dinner after we clean up. Tonight, now that I'm up here, I have more family, so now there's going to be 7 of us for dinner. Six. I'm sorry, 4 of them and 2 of us. 4 plus 2, 6, 7, 6. What? Who's? Oh yes. So we are missing one, but so tonight I did make a bit more, and I made 1 sweet and 1 spicy. So now this is not, this is not done browning yet. It needs to brown some more. I'm going to take the foil off. And so when they get here, I know it's going to go back and we're not eating it. Came from the refrigerator. So all this garlic will be nice and brown and gorgeous, chicken all brown. And we have the beans. And then we're going to put some of this parsley and green onions on it when you serve it, and a juice of a lime. Remember acid? I always talk about acid as a flavor builder. We have to have some more. So I'm going to grab a lime, and when we're ready to serve it, and squeeze a lime over the top, and I'll take the chicken off, and then put the green onions and the parsley and stir it into the beans and vegetables, and then we'll plate it up and serve it. Okay. And we're going to probably have some fresh green beans that look gorgeous in the store today as well. So we have a nice green vegetable to go along with this. Oh, there we go. It finally started. Another 10 minutes. But then when it's done, you want to let it naturally decompress for 10 minutes. Okay. Just don't touch the pressure cooker once it beeps, and just let it sit for 10 minutes. Then you can go ahead and release the rest of the pressure and pull it out, and you're all good to go at that point. Everything's ready and done. So, okay, we have our 2 items here tonight. We didn't make dessert tonight, but okay, we'll catch up on that next time for you.
Gee, pull out the dessert in the freezer.
Oh, ice gelato? Yeah, we bought some gelato. Wonderful stuff. I could pull out your yeah, we got her roasted, and we also have her fruit compote on the ice cream. It's stewed prunes and apricots and lemons and raisins and cherries and that stewed fruit. This is Passover. A lot of you guys know that. And matzah is delicious for those that like it, but it does have a certain quality that you need to eat those prunes during Passover.
But
So
they're good all year round.
They're delicious. Yes, they're good for us all year round. All right. Any more questions from you guys? I love you all. I'm so happy you're all here.
Now we're just exchanging emojis about Godzilla at this point.
Paula, you distract everybody. And there is someone missing. And I know all you guys here know that because you're all my friends. We did lose Morty last week. I know Morty makes an appearance almost every single show. Yes, man, just somehow to either bark or get away. He crossed the Rainbow Bridge on Friday. So we were very sad to see him go. And I'm making Mindy cry. So he was with us for 14 years. He was almost 15 years old. He was 9 months when we rescued him. So he was a great companion and friend. So
it was 14 years where he rescued you.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. Well, we always said that we were not dog owners with him. We were dog owned. We owned all our other dogs, our labs and stuff, but and our pug, but he owned us. So, well, that's what we sign on for when we have pets, because we know they don't live as long as we do. So, all the good years. That's why it hurts. So, we're going to say goodnight. Okay.
So good night, everybody.
Rob and Mindy from Aortic Hope and the Aortic Kitchen. Remember, we are a 501c3. You want to hit that like button to help us promote. You want to subscribe to the channel. There's lots of great programs, and we're all volunteers. And there's also a button there where you can make a donation to the 501c3 to help us continue our work of survivors helping survivors of aortic disease. This is Rob Seltzer, the aortic chef,
Mindy Seltzer, the aortic dietitian.
and we want
Have
to
a wonderful evening.
say thank you for joining us in the aortic kitchen. Good night.